Oh, what's up, y'all? Who's ready to get this party started? Oh, shit. Looks like the party's over. Looks like the party's over. So, I'm going to get this party started right now. This is how it's done. It's Friday night, and the moon is bright. We're gonna have some fun and show you how it's done. TGIF. One more time. It's Friday night, and the moon is bright. Moon is bright. Gonna have some fun and show you how it's done. TGIF. All right. That's right. It's Friday. It's Friday night, and we're live on the Jake channel. I don't see anyone in chat. There's somebody in chat. Looks. I know my channel gets shadow banned into oblivion, but there wasn't not a single person in chat until just now. All right, we got Larry Silverstein's Insurance in the house. Larry Silverstein's Insurance Policy has a YouTube channel, and he says, "Yo, Jake, what's up, Larry Silverstein's Insurance Policy?" All right, who else we got? We got Revolution Ireland in the chat, says, "What's up, Jake?" Let's see. We got Guacamole Kid in the chat, says, "What's up?" That's how we say "what's up" around here. That's a thing we do. All right. So, who's ready to get this thing started? All right. We'll just jump straight into it. Little tiny crowd has gathered. As more people trickle in, I might have to repeat myself, but here we go. Let's get into the Canada discussion. I'm seeing news that they are beginning to arrest protesters now, that the police are finally now starting to push back. And I'm hearing word that some of the protesters have went on home. Some of the trucks have been towed away or they've left. And we're seeing the beginning of the end of the protest in Canada, apparently. Now, I've got conflicting news. When it's from the mainstream media, they're making it out like they're totally winning. But when you hear from the people in the protests, they're partying and hanging around dumpster fires and listening to music and look like they're enjoying themselves. So they say they're winning. And so I'm seeing a little bit of conflicting stories between who's winning. But I have seen footage of people being turned away and getting arrested. And so apparently the arrests have begun in certain places. All right. So far, chat is super slow. We've been experiencing some high levels of shadow banning. And so I thought I would give this subject a try one last time as it is heating up. It looks like tensions are rising. And there's a few more people trickling in. Okay, it's like I only had like 5 people comment so far. Pretty slow start. So basically, I've been shadow banned whenever I try and talk about the Ottawa protests or any of the Canadian convoy protests. In the few times I've tried to talk about it, and I also have the bigger channel, the Jake the Asshole channel. I've made a few videos, and all of them do extra bad. All of them just do terribly. And so I know for a fact I'm being shadow banned into oblivion. So I thought I'd give it one last try just to make absolute extra sure. And sure enough, it just appears that if I say anything about Canada and protests or any of that stuff, they bury the content. Christopher Alexander says, did I miss the tokish or the bowlish yet? I've stopped smoking here in the office because other tenants were complaining. So there's other people who have offices and they complained about the smell. And so I don't do that inside the office anymore. So I only smoke outside. And if I take the computer outside, we might lose internet connection and it'll be worse than it already is. So basically the Canada thing, from what I hear, is starting to fizzle out. But I did want to do this stream to see if we could get anybody from up north to maybe let me know what's going on. And here's some of the inside scoop. So if we have anybody from good old Canada who has any of the inside scoop, please feel free to drop some lines in the chat and fill us in. And don't lie either. Don't just be like, oh, I'm totally a Canadian, eh? I was there yesterday, eh? And it was like HE double hockey sticks cold, eh? That's my Canada accent. And then there's those French Canadians. That's just freaky. A French Canadian is just, I can't wrap my mind around it. Like France and Canada at the same time. That's what? How did that happen? Where do you people come from? Just kidding. I know where people come from. Monkeys. Bing. Just kidding. Or am I? I am. All right. So if you're just now showing up, smash the thumbs up because I only have 10 thumbs up and that's bullshit. All right, come on, guys. I know I'm shadow banned, but you guys, you got to help me out and stroke that algorithm by slapping the thumbs up. I'm the most shadow banned comedian on the internet, basically. I don't care what anybody says. They shadow ban the living shit out of this channel and the asshole channel. The asshole channel, holy crap. They just will not let me go viral. They're just like, you talk about anything, we're just going to cap your views. Pain in the ass, guys. So you got to slap that thumbs up to let YouTube know we're still here. We're still fighting. Yeah, come on. Smash them. All right, so okay, we have some people say they're in Canada, so feel free to let us know in chat what's going on in your neck of the Canadian woods. But from what I'm seeing, the main protests in places like Ottawa are starting to show signs of breaking down. So, as I said, until you actually physically remove people from government, well, then you didn't actually win. So, I actually saw a little bit of their government meeting with the Trudeau guy. Man, that guy just looks evil. Just looks like a nice evil actor character. And then they had some dude who had on this, like, I don't know, like almost like old school George Washington looking Thomas Jefferson-esque clothes on. Some old 1700s looking clothes. And he was in a big giant green throne. And they had this government meeting where this like butch dyke lesbian was like, we don't want to have to deal with these mandates, blah, blah, blue. Like she was the good guy. Like the butch dyke lesbian who looked like an abortion from Ellen DeGeneres was like the good guy. Can't even remember her name. And then like there was this prime minister guy or whatever. Somebody was sitting in a big green throne. And then the Trudeau guy was like, these truckers have swastikas and stuff. They're Nazis. He was basically calling the truckers Nazis. And then a dude who's supposed to be against the mandates, like, my uncle my grandpa fought the Nazis and he lost his life. I can't believe you're comparing the truckers to the Nazis. I just can't believe. So it's like they all put on the narrative that the Nazis are definitely the worstest dudes who ever lived. So let's not compare the truckers to them. And then the other side, like, no, the Nazis are the worst people ever. And yes, the truckers are just like them and probably have swastikas. So even at the government meeting, you can go look up what I just said and basically find whatever I just paraphrased happened. What the hell video name was it? Anywho, I don't want to go back looking at my history and trying to figure out what video I watched, but I saw this like Canadian courtroom government hearing. And that was the first time I ever saw one before. And it just looked funky. It was really weird. Let me plug in my computer and see if it helps with lagging or anything. I just plugged in my computer. Maybe that'll help with the lagging. I hear some people say I'm lagging. All right, so, oh, excuse me, totally about to sneeze. Woo. Okay, so Dr. E. Vales says police are showing force. The government never wanted to be out in mainstream as violent. Yeah, well, we already know the government won't allow a protest to go on, but as long as they want it to. So they'll allow you to protest. But if you don't protest properly, well, then they'll just come start shoving you. Like if they want to get you to go to a certain area, they'll just be like, move back, move back, move back. And they're legally allowed to do that to you. You're not legally allowed to do anything back to them, but they can just come at you like this. Move back, move back, move back. They'll form a line, and then they'll just start doing this. Back, back, back. They'll have their batons, and they'll have shields, and they'll push you fucking backwards. And if you're the one guy that's like, I'm going to fight your shields and your batons, then they're going to grab you and pull you back to the guys behind them. And they're going to arrest that person. And then people are going to be like, I don't want no part of this. See you later. And you're going to see it fizzle that fast. That's what happens when push comes to shove. The end of the party. Go watch the Canadian videos. What do you see? You know what I've seen a whole lot of? And I've watched a lot of videos. Watched a lot. Just so I know what's going on, at least I think. As far as I can do my research here in America without having to drive up there and put my ass in it. From what I've watched, and I watched the BitChute footage, and I watched the mainstream media footage, and I listened to people who are from Canada tell me their side of the story. And from what I've gathered, there's a whole lot of people doing jack shit thinking that they're doing something. For instance, I see people hanging out, just hanging out, walking around. Boop, 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 boop. Check my phone. We're winning. Woo! Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Hey, cool, you're here. Yeah, Canada, we're winning. Yeah, the police are on our side. The military don't want none of this. Yeah, we're winning. Woo! Woo! Oh, Canada, for Canada, we love you, Canada. Woo! Yeah. Honk, 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 honk. Honk, 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 honk. Woo! Canada, motherfucker, what? Canada, we're winning! We're winning! We're winning! Woo! 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 Meanwhile, the police are like, okay, any minute now, we're just gonna come in and start shoving you fuckers backwards. And then you're gonna go. That's what's gonna happen, as it's starting to look like that's what's happening. And people are gonna be like, no, that's not what's happening, Jake. I watched the live feeds. I've watched the live feeds, and I have seen hours upon hours of what the fuck I just showed you. Around dumpster fires. People just listening to music, drinking, and going, wee, we're winning, it's freedom. That you could do that shit already beforehand. Silent Walk said, I was in Ottawa. That's exactly what happened. I rest my case. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Here's what they're doing. They're making a bunch of people think that they're doing something. Up your tent, and then you live there. Hey man, I'm just gonna occupy this. Yeah, you know what? Bums here in any big city, you should see a shitload of bums just occupying with their tent. And you know what happens? Eventually, if somebody complains enough, the police will come and say, pack up all your shit and get out of here, or we'll take you to jail and fine you. And then they pack up their shit and they go move it somewhere else. It's the same thing with the Occupy shit. So you put down your tent or whatever, you're like, we pay taxes, this is our land. And then the police will be like, oh, cool. All right. Back. Oh, guess what? Now we just took your tent and your bicycle. Go get a new tent and new bicycle. Back. Yeah, push comes to shove. You know why? They're getting paid. They're getting a paycheck. Duh. And guess what? There's always going to be dudes who are like, I have a family. I got me a kid to feed. I'll go be someone who shoves people back. I'll go do that. I gots to have a job, Jacob. We all gots to do something. So I'm going to go be a person who works for the government and shoves people backwards because I'm a fucking great person. And I gots to take care of my wife and kid. And I'm going to go be one of those government shovers. Sure, I don't care about sleeping with my thoughts at night and looking at myself in the mirror. Gots to make money somehow. And you wonder why I'm the most shadow banned comedian. You wonder why. Faith just showed up, says, here's where all the cool kids are. Damn right. You don't see me with a date on Friday night. No date, Jake, on a Friday night. All right. Mad about a Shapes' convoy of cowards. You know, there's a lot of real people involved in their emotions on the line. I'm not going to call these people cowards because it's not like I personally have went and drugged tyrants out of their homes and shook them down in front of the block, you know. So I have personally never like went and did that. But I feel like I can at least fight them with my creativity and my videos. Help wake people up, help get people thinking, so that maybe one day we have a chance, maybe one day, at fighting back. But Right now, it looks like they have this place locked down and figured out in every which way. And do we have the elites outnumbered? Yeah, but try organizing the world's biggest army. Try it. Just you. If you think you're so fucking cool or smart or whatever, try organizing the world's biggest army. I've had people be like, Jake, why don't you use your influence here on YouTube with your 40,000 subs and start like this new revolution? It's like, dude, they shadow ban the shit out of me to where I can only get a few thousand people watching me anymore. And so, what am I supposed to do with a few thousand people spread out across the world? Besides a bitch about it and make jokes about it. So basically, they have me shadow ban, and even with only 40,000 subs, they limit what I can do so bad from these on these platforms because they own all the damn platforms. So what am I supposed to do? Go start my own damn platform and create content for my own platform and lead the world's biggest army? Holy shit, I'm just a dude. I never thought I was going to have to be John Connor and Sarah Connor and Neo and fucking save everybody. It's kind of a job I don't even know how to do. So sometimes people will say, what about you and your following? It's like me and these couple hundred people watching. We're going to come save them. So it looks like, from just my perspective, that the convoy is coming to an end. And personally, I'm shocked that it went on as long as it did. I'm kind of shocked that it went on so long. And a lot of times when I checked in, it was either just people standing around, just on street corners, while horns were just blaring nonstop, or it was like groups of people singing the Canadian national anthem, just joining hands, being like, "Oh, Canada, for Canada, forever, Canada, yeah, Canada for hockey sticks, and we love hockey, eh?" You know how it goes. So they were all sitting around singing the national anthem and feeling such proud to be Canadians. And eventually, push is going to come to shove, which I was telling you guys that they have a way of controlling these protests and running them exactly where they want the protests to go. You know, like a movie script. So I figured it was going to get shut down within a week or two. And hey, it drug on what are we on, like 3 straight weeks of this? And again, every time I tried to cover it, and this is supposed to be mainstream trending news, and I see other channels covering it and their sub counts going through the roof and they're getting just millions of views. And then when I try and cover this topic, they're like, shadow ban the hell out of Jake. We do not want Jake injecting logic into this topic. The last thing the internet wants from me is logic about this topic, it seems. PJ CNET in the house says, "Hey Jake, what's up, bro?" Justin Manikai says, "Ha ha ha ha." I agree, man. It's some funny shit. Let's see. P. Blaine says the cops made man moves and got man results. They're set up for it. They have the paycheck on their side and the legality on their side. So if you have a shield and a weapon and you're getting a paycheck and you just don't give a fuck about these people in front of you, of course you'll be like, "Get back, whack, get back, whack, get Here's my can of mace. Get back. You don't care. You have the law on your side. You're getting a paycheck. That's what it comes down to for most people. Yep. Serious commenter says, I like your RFB impression. Hey, thanks. But here's the deal. If you guys want the RFB, I'm considered like the top RFB impressionist in the entire world. So you got to come correct with super chats, and you have to request RFB in a super chat form. That's kind of the new thing now, is like RFB is my specialty. That is like one of my signatures. And so if you're going to try and get me to do some of the RFB, you got to come with the super chat cheddar. It's just how it is. It's like if you want to go watch your favorite band play live, you got to throw down money for the ticket. Now you can go watch them play on YouTube for free, but it won't be the same as showing up live and getting that live. So the next best thing to getting me live is getting my one and only best ever Richie from Boston impression. See how I just talked you into I'm trying to goad you guys into pay me to do my own impression that I enjoy doing. Anywho, so we'll move on with the Canadian stuff. Maybe later I'll get into some impressions. But for now, let's stick with the Canadian topic and see if I can stick with it until we get maybe 100 people or two. Okay. Oh, and if you're just now showing up, smash the thumbs up. I've been streaming for about 27 minutes. We've been mostly talking about the Canadian convoy. I got a few other subjects we'll cover tonight, but I basically just wanted to do some basic news coverage of this. James Hicks Boson says RFB is selling his Toyota truck. Yes, he is indeed. In Richie news, because that's what's important, right? That's what's important. Canada's not important. What's really important is some old fat dude with an ugly beard selling his old ass truck. That's what's important. That's what you guys want to know about. All right. Okay, so I'm guessing within the next 2-3 days, we should start to see the police continue their pushback, and they'll get a little more firm and start to take over certain areas. And you're going to see considerable decrease in the amount of protesters. I'm guessing over the next 3-4 days, you're going to see some shit start to pop off. But I also think you're going to see this thing start to fizzle. So you're going to see probably some clashes, but I think that the police are going to have those clashes under control, and eventually they're just going to get people to move back and put people exactly where they want them, arrest the ones who try and fight back. I see a whole lot of people at some point just going home. Oh, I love this question. Andrew Brown says, so what do you do for a real job, dude? A real job, dude? What does that mean, a real job? What are you, like a 1950s dad? Get a haircut and get a real job. Get a haircut and get a real job. You have to go out and do something you don't like swing a hammer, right? You have to go out and do something like a doctor or a lawyer, right? You have to go do a real job like a receptionist or a janitor. You have to go shovel some shit, right? Hey, guess what? I am a professional singer. I was singing for the elderly and disabled, Andrew Brown, and then the government stole my job and screwed me over, basically. Well, they didn't go in and steal it from me, but they basically caused my job to no longer exist unless you have a VAXX card and you want to walk in and fill out a piece of paper and be shot in the head with a temperature gun and be treated like you're some diseased thing walking in the door every single time you show up to do a gig. Yeah, I lost 20 to 30 singing gigs every single month that was my income. I lost that because of the current state of the world, Andrew Brown. That was my job. So I fell back on my secondary income, which is being a YouTuber, which is also a job. And I can show you how much I've made throughout the years on YouTube. There's times where it's enough to slip by, and then there's times where it was not. And so basically, this is a job. I'm entertaining people. And YouTube and I are in a partnership to where they sometimes put ads on my videos, sometimes, and I get paid for that a little bit. But the majority of my income typically comes through super chat donations, PayPal donations, because people like to hear me talk. People like to hear me state my opinion. You know why? It's because I am not the mainstream media. And so I offer a service that people enjoy while people like you speak of a real job and you're here watching me. What does that say? I'm doing my job and you're at my job right now. You, Andrew Brown, showed up to my comedy show performance. This is a comedy routine and you're at my show. Huh? And there, right there is a super chat. See? I talk to the screen. People give me money. And that's how this whole thing works. And I have to do that. Otherwise, I can't pay for any of the bills to do any of this. And then you won't get to watch me. So since you're here watching me and enjoying me, you, sir, are at my job helping me make a living, even if you're not donating. You're here watching, driving up the numbers, and participating in chat. Thank you, Andrew Brown, for asking about my real job, that you're real to me, but don't email me unless it's serious and you actually want to buy my truck. At any rate, I digress. At some point, I'm going to have to figure out at what rate that I actually want to digress. But there is this, and then, as you say, there is that. It is the 37th of Marchtober, or so we are told, I think. And I am staying on the couch at a subscriber's house. It is cold, and I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday. That's because I'm trying to give away all my possessions. I got right with God, and God told me if I give away all my possessions and I wear the same clothes every day and get rid of my old shitty truck, that things are going to be looking up. And so, if you want to buy my truck, you can enter the contest. Email me down below. But if you have any money, you're going to want to buy my Patriot food supply. You're going to want to take out a personal loan, cash in your children's college tuition for my Patriot food supply. Because let's be honest, can you eat your kid's college degree when the supermarket shelves are empty? No, you can't. You're going to want my powdered bags, my food, my powdery food. That's how I stay in such great shape. So you can get 20% off in the description down below. Oh, Jonna X showed up. She says, "Here's to your talent. We love you." Oh, I also sent you an email, Jonna, about the private show request. I sent you an email and a text. Did you get either the email or the text? Because I didn't hear back from you. So just want to make sure you got that. So I see a bunch of laughing emojis. That's how you know that I did a proper RFB impression. No Brand says the Chinese drones are after him. See, this time I left the Chinese drones out so that I could give you the more updated Richie. So what I've done now is, since I'm the best Richie impressionist in the world, I actually started rewatching Richie's stuff. So I didn't watch him for the longest time. And when I would do impressions, I would just recall him off the top of my head and always just basically repeat the same shit. So now what I've done is I've started watching him I guess he has a new channel here called like Jailbreak Outlander or something like that. And then he's also got a BitChute channel under his regular name, Richie from Boston. So I'll check out his up-to-date content. And so that's basically your up-to-date Richie. I basically gave you a almost verbatim of what he's doing right now. He's in Virginia, hanging with a subscriber. He says that they've been VA double X, but he doesn't have the heart to let them know that they're gonna die, and that he's selling his truck or giving it away. And basically, then he wants to shove the Patriot food supply on you. Him and Brian both do that same powdered food supply deal, and I get it. They got to sell a product so that they can stay afloat. I get it, but at the end of the day, I personally would feel guilty trying to tell you guys to go eat some powdered lab made crap. Personally, I just don't feel right telling you guys to go eat some powdered lab made shit. I just can't look myself in the mirror and be like, you guys, this bag of powder keeps me feeling strong and healthy. Ooh, yeah, if you want big muscles like me, and if you want to be as awesome and as cool as me and slap the bass like me, you should buy my powdered food, bro. It's what made me so awesome and cool. And you can do the same as me if you buy my shit, bro. You get 30% off down here. It's only going to be 30% for the next 24. See, I don't do that shit. Now, I will try to sell you one of these. Now, watch how I do this. This right here, whole different ball game. Today, I still wear this. I still wear it. It's still fashionable. And just yesterday, I was actually wearing the same shirt. Yes, I sometimes will wear the same shit one day after the other. So I was wearing this shirt yesterday, and I went to go shoot pool with a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while. And he actually is into old school flat Earth stuff and into conspiracies. So he's a cool dude. So I went to go shoot pool with a friend I haven't seen in a while. And the first thing somebody mentions when I walk in about the shirt, they're like, "Oh, that's a funny shirt." They mention the shirt, and I'm like, "Oh, you like that?" And I'm like, "Hey, isn't it funny how back in 1969 they landed on the moon, but they can't go back now?" And he's like, "Oh, well, that's because they ended the rocket program." I was like, "What? They did what?" And so me and my friend Brian were starting to laugh at this dude because we're like, "Oh shit, here he goes." He goes, "No, they ended the rocket program. I have friends who worked on the rockets." So we was walking this pool hall. Dude notices the shirt and gives me the "I have friends that worked on the rockets" routine. So I said to him, "We haven't gone back since 1972, or I should say. NASA hasn't gone back since 1972. And right now they claim they can't go back because they lost and destroyed the technology." He goes, "No, I have friends that worked on the rockets. No, they canceled the rocket program." I was like, "Dude, look, look, see this? Do you see?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That means they never went. See? Look, bro. Look. It does look like a Twitter shelter." And so I went through the whole routine with him. And my friend Brian, I could tell he's starting to get a little antsy because he's like, "Oh shit, Jake's drawing attention. Jake might start some shit, cause a scene." So I could tell my friend Brian was getting a little uncomfortable because sometimes I start to like cause a scene. And I'm the type of guy that like people will quickly realize that I'm the outsider and they will turn on me real fast, like the whole place. And so Brian basically like was like, "All right, dude, we'll talk to you later." And he basically pulled me over to the pool table, and we stopped talking. Or no, we went and played darts, and then we played pool. So he kicked my ass in some darts and in some pool, but the shirt still works. it still works, man. So if you never got one of these classic designs here, you can get one in the description down below. See how I did that? So I still hawk this shirt. I'm proud of this design, and it actually is the truth. And here's the thing: if you don't want one, just don't get one. It's not gonna like keep you alive. Uh, you're not gonna like fucking run out of food and eat the shirt. But if you just think it looks cool, hold on, let me go get the link for you. If you just think it looks cool and you want one, I will drop the link in chat. This is my business. This is how I do it. I don't sell you guys any powdered food. And I'm not going to tell you to take out your kids' college tuition. I'm not going to tell you to spend uh, every last penny in your bank account. But if you want one, they're only 20 bucks. Only 20 bucks, bro. Boom, there's the link in the chat. 20 bucks for the shirt. And you can get the hoodie for like 30 something. 35 bucks, I want to say, for the hoodie. But the shirt is only 20 bones. Only 20 bones. All right, we're going to move on. Had to do a little business. That's how business is performed. Okay, John, I got my email. All right, that's good. All right. So we're going to move on. I am planning on doing a comedic performance in the future where I mix all my old jokes and new jokes and make like a like maybe an hour and a half special, and maybe have a few songs in there, some of my classic tunes, and perform those live. So what I'm looking to do is maybe an hour and a half or so comedy music special, and mix basically a lot of my classic bits. And so I'm thinking of doing that soon, and releasing it as like a $3 special or something like that, $5 special, where you have to go uh, over to maybe Patreon or something, which I don't even do Patreon. So I don't even do a Patreon, but I'm planning in the future maybe doing a comedic performance where you have to go through Patreon, and it'll basically be one where I say stuff that I wouldn't normally say here on YouTube. I'm going to basically go for it super hard, and I'm going to mix in all my old classic bits. So it'll basically be like the ultimate Jake the Asshole comedy music performance. And it'll also include some new jokes you've never heard before, where I say some controversial shit that could possibly get me shut down. So what I want to do is have like a video that's like too hot for YouTube, that I have on like a alternate platform. You're gonna have to pay a few bucks to get in to see it. So I want to basically have like a video that's too hot for YouTube, and you got to go through a firewall to get to. And I know that only like a certain amount of you are going to do it, but those of you who do are going to get rewarded. So I might do that in the future. I also am looking into streaming on some other platforms as well, and expanding, because the party here on YouTube looks like it's going to fizzle out one day. And so I have to be able to stay afloat in many different forms. And I've been putting a lot of my eggs in this YouTube basket. And so if YouTube's not going to treat me kindly, eventually, they might cut me off or kick me to the curb. You just never know. Seems like whenever I open my mouth, they just start shadow banning me nowadays. Type in like Canadian convoy, they'll put up a mainstream video from like ABC News, and it'll have like 300,000 views. And it's like, dude, nobody's going on YouTube to watch ABC News. It's the fact that YouTube is promoting the mainstream media clips and shoving them down people's throats. And then a guy like me, if I title something Canadian convoy, Ottawa protest, they're not going to actually show me in any of the results to actually type this title out letter for letter. And even then, you might not even find it. And then they're not notifying people, they're unsubscribing people. They make it as hard as possible on me. And I know for a fact it's happening because I looked up other channels that don't even do conspiracy shit that have got their channel shadow banned. Last night I looked up a gardening channel that had their audience basically throttled down to the bare minimum because they put quarantine in a title of one of their videos. They put the word quarantine in a gardening title, and so this gardening channel with 300,000 subs, a very popular gardening channel with 300,000 subs, they were typically getting 50 to 60,000 views per video, sometimes even getting 1 million views per video. And they put the word quarantine in one title, gardening tips for while you're under quarantine. And that cut their audience in half the next video down to 20,000 views. And then they were at 20,000 views for a few videos. They put the C19 word in the title of another gardening video, and their audience dropped to 5,000 views. So imagine having 300,000 subscribers, and then your channel drops down to 5,000 views, and you have to think, okay, are 295,000 people just not wanting to watch the gardening channel that they all subscribe to? So I figured out it's happening to other channels, and I've watched a few different channels that don't even make conspiracy content that have got their shit down throttled. And so YouTube won't admit that they do this. They won't come out and admit that they're doing this to people, but it does definitely happen. And so I'm basically fighting against a beast system that does not like my brand of comedy or my brand of entertainment. And so what they do is they cap me off at maybe 6,000 views on the asshole channel, and over here they cap me off at like 2,000, maybe 3,000 views, no matter what I talk about. So I can make fun of some bitch on Tinder and get 3,000 views, or I can talk about this Ottawa protest and get less views. You get what I mean? It's like YouTube can control who sees your video now and like how many people they show it to. And it doesn't even seem to matter how many subscribers you have. Like if I was a channel with 300,000 subs and only got 5,000 views, like that would cause me to not want to make content. That would make you want to rip your own hair out. So they own this platform, and they can literally with a knob just go pew, or a flick of a switch, boop, and that will be the end of your channel as far as your growth. Steve Vash says, I'm surprised you're monetized. They must not have seen you having people cough in your face. That was great. On this channel, those cough in my face videos are monetized and up. But guess what? Only like 2,000 people will watch it over here. So on this channel, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 is where everything gets capped off at. And then over on the asshole channel, they cap shit off usually around like 5,000, 6,000. And so I have a passionate fan base as far as like the diehards will always go to my channels to see what's going on. And the diehards make sure that they're keeping up and checking on the videos. So I do have a nice diehard fan base. And the fans I do have, they buy merch, they contribute cool comments and super chats, donations to the PayPal and all that good stuff. So I do have a good fan base that keeps me afloat. So that I'm very happy to have. And so they haven't been able to completely take that from me. But even my most diehard of subscribers have told me stories that they've been unsubscribed from the asshole channel, not once, not twice, but 3 times, 4 times. I've heard people say that they went through all the steps, that they have the bell turned on and all that stuff, and they just don't get any notifications from me. So that's the way they do it. That's how they bury you on this platform. And meanwhile, they're promoting ABC News. Fox News and CNN. It's like we got rid of the TV so we could watch YouTube videos. Remember, we stopped watching TV so that we could watch each other. I could watch you, you could watch me. It's YouTube, right? You're supposed to be like posting videos like Maya he, Maya who, Maya ma, ma. You're supposed to be doing funny, lame shit, taking your dog on a walk, you know what I mean, catching fish, going camping, riding your bike. It's supposed to be about me and you. And what they've done is they're like, shit, people don't want to watch television. Let's take over YouTube and shove television down their throat through YouTube. Now it's like, you assholes. Now, so then you want to go over to like BitChute, but some of those platforms are kind of clunky. And then all it is just negative, controversial shit in your face all day long. And that's not good for you either. And then they basically can shove you over to BitChute. So I feel like BitChute was created purposely to shove all us conspiracy heads over in a place that you can't make any money, that less people watch. Oh, you want to say whatever you want about the Jews? Go over to BitChute and bitch about it. So then you go over to BitChute and then you can talk shit about the Jews. But guess what? You're just going to have an echo chamber of like less people than here on YouTube, and there's no money to be made. So that's why you got guys hawking their Patriot food supply, shit like that. Because over here on YouTube, they control this platform. They get to decide who stays and who doesn't. And so a guy like me, they're not real thrilled with letting me make a bunch of ad revenue. But they like the fact that I have diehard subs who buy super chats. And so since this is their program and their platform, they always get to take a cut of everything. And so it can be frustrating to want to get the truth out there and be faced with of how are you going to do it without getting censored. You know what I mean? If you try and go out on the streets and actually have a conversation with people, they've got something like this, right? So here's how they censored you talking to people outside. Blah, 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 blah. That's how they've censored you to other human beings and making friendships with other human beings. Your conversations with people have been altered since this has. Your interactions with people have been altered since this showed up. Mine has, and it still happens on a daily basis. I went to the damn store tonight to pick up a steak, and when I got there, I noticed I was the only one in the store not wearing one of these. Right? Well, this isn't even a mask. This is just a piece of cloth. Anyway, so I'm the only one not wearing something. And they don't say nothing. Like, none of the stores that I go to are being combative. None of them are saying anything or trying to kick me out. And even the people behind the counter, they don't say anything. But still, everyone is just choosing to do it. They're just choosing to do it. And so to this day, I'm wondering if we're ever going to possibly go back, because now people seem to like their muzzle. People have grown accustomed to their muzzle. It's like they're banky. You know, like they want to suck their thumb and have their blankie, their baba. So their muzzle is now their security blankie. Does that make sense? Luis Santos in the house says, hello from Australia. Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. That's not a knife. That's a knife. It's a knife. Those of you who've seen Crocodile Dundee are like, bah, ha, ha, ha. And then those of you who don't remember that movie at all are like, what the hell is he talking about? Also got this cool one right here. It's got a buffalo nickel, and it's with antelope horn. Buffalo nickel antelope horn. That's not a knife. Those weren't knives. They're stage props. I'm a comedy actor. Bear with me. All right, we're going to do a classic joke here. Classic joke. You guys ready? Don't you love it when you see these sheeple walking around with their diaper? It's like, hey, does your diaper keep you safe from the boogeyman disease? And they're like, uh-huh. It's like they actually believe this is going to keep them safe from flying spiky balls. There's flying spiky balls going everywhere, you guys. Shit. Have you heard about the new variant? They're getting bigger. The spiky balls are getting bigger. Eventually, you're going to be able to see the spiky balls in the air. They're mutating. They're getting bigger. Eventually, you're going to be able to see spiky balls shooting out of people's nose. Man, it's going to be scary. It's going to be like, whatchoo, ping, pew, spiky balls shooting everywhere, man. Where are those spiky balls? Oh, here's another one. Spiky balls coming at you. Ping, pow. Somebody will be like, I'm going to get you, and shoot spiky balls at you. But you guys know, this is what keeps you protected from the spiky balls. You walk around like this, the spiky balls can go in your nose and in your mouth. But when you wear a diaper, here's what happens. It's like, ping, pow, you block them. You see, they want to get inside your nose. The spiky balls wants to go up your nose and in your mouth. They wanna. So if somebody was to walk by and they didn't have a diaper on their face and they coughed or sneezed, then of course you have your spiky ball blocker there to block the spiky balls from going in your nose and in your mouth, right? Ping, right? Pew! And I like to make little ricochet gun effects, like when a bullet hits steel and it goes pa-ting, pa-ting. That's basically what happens. It's like pa-ting, pew, right? So, wearing a diaper on your face keeps you safe, right? No, I got it all wrong. It keeps you safe, not me. I'm not keeping me safe. I'm keeping you safe. Oh, that makes sense, right? Because if I have my nose and mouth covered, well, then there's no possible way I can accidentally sneeze or cough or shoot spiky balls at you. Well, then what about the people like me who don't wear one? What if we sneeze or cough on you? So it seems you're now at the mercy of people like me who don't wear one. So again, if I'm not wearing one, and I'm not the only one, there's lots of people not wearing them. Anytime you go near anyone, that means you're not protected, even if you're wearing one. So again, why are you wearing one and going out and about where there are people who may cough and sneeze on you? Furthermore, What's to stop one of these COVID balls from going in your eyeball or inside your ear hole? How come COVIDs don't go inside people's ear? Why don't you need to wear ear muffs or plastic bags over your ears? How come you don't hear about them going in your eye? Your eye is like an organ, and you can have a COVID ball come shooting at your eye, and they're so small and microscopic, it's gonna go in your eyeball, right? What about those moments when you have to pull down your diaper and you have to put something in your mouth to stay alive, like food, water? What's to stop those sneaky, spiky balls from shooting in there in that exact moment? So, again, is it keeping you safe or is it keeping me safe? Who's keeping who safe here? Because it seems to me I don't get sick and haven't been sick, and I don't wear one. So, therefore, why are you afraid of me, the guy who's not sick and never been sick? Oh, it's because you might be sick and not know that you're sick. Shit. All right. So let's play this game. You're protected. You're not protected. Now you're protected. Now you're not protected. Protected, not protected. Protected, not protected. Protection, not protection. Protection, not protection. Protection, not protection. And safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger. Safe danger. Safe danger. Safe, 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 danger. Safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger, safe, danger. Safe, there you go. Old school clip there. Old school rant. I think I did that one last year. I think it's been over a year since I invented that rant, ending in the safe danger skit. You're in danger right now. I might get you with boogeyman disease. Oh, but you're safe now. Achoo! I sneezed into this. Everything's fine. You're totally cool. Now you're in danger. No, you're not. Yes, you are. Nuh-uh. Yes. No. What? Oh! Okay, everything's cool. I'm your friend now. You want to hang out? No, I'm dangerous and contagious. Oh, but everything's cool now. Dangerous, contagious. Everything's cool. Contagious. Nope. Yeah. Do you guys remember when they first started doing this shit, and then like the restaurants had to like shut down, and then like they like partially opened back up, and then they were doing this shit where they're like, you have to have on a diaper if you want to come inside our restaurant. And then you're like, how am I supposed to put food in my face? Once you sit down at your table, then you can take your diaper off. So you're telling me from the door to the table, I gotta wear one of these? Uh-huh. So you're telling me at my table, the COVID balls definitely won't fly up my nose? Well, we can't say that for sure. You might get it if you're sitting at a table, so that part you're gonna have to risk. But we can't risk you walking by tables, so we have to make you or insist that you put your diaper on while you're walking past the tables. But then once you sit at the table, then it's fine. And have you ever been to one of those restaurants that's really tiny and they're like, you need to do this? And it's like, the table's right there. You want me to walk 10 feet with a muzzle? And they're like, yes. And you're like, I'm just going to walk 10. Look, I'm just going to go sit down. Look, now I'm at the table. And they're like, no, sir, you're going to have to go back outside and re-put on the diaper and re-walk in here. We can't serve you. I'm like, now I'm sitting at the table. They're like, no, sir, you walked in here without a diaper and sat down. You have to go back outside and start over, sir. Go back outside and start over and come in with it. And then once you sit down, then you can take it off. Don't you understand what? We just want to keep you safe. We're trying to keep you safe, man. Don't you feel really that when you walked into this restaurant that we told you to put a diaper on? Everyone else thinks it's awesome except for you, sir. Why are you being so difficult, sir? So we're going to have to ask you to leave. Uh, Andy R&B says no diaper in Denver. Yeah, so basically what I said is there's people around here who choose to wear it even though there's no one enforcing it. So most of the stores that I go to don't say a damn thing about it and haven't tried to enforce it in like it seems like a year. So the last time I heard anyone say that, I was on my way back from my last mini vacation, and I stopped at this little gas station town. It's like a gas station food fucking tourist stop. It's called de Fruta. Casa de Fruta. And I stopped there, and when I went to walk in to use just the restroom, they were like, "Sir, you have to have on," and I just walked right past and into the restroom. And then when I came out, I knew the lady was gonna like say the same thing to me when I came out. But the only thing was, I was only there to stop and quickly use the restroom. I wasn't gonna actually buy anything, and so I already had it made up in my mind that I was gonna tell this lady to suck my fucking balls, like right to her face. And so, right when I walked out, she makes eye contact with me. And this is like a 70-year-old lady. She's one of those fat ladies whose neck like turns into her head. And she comes up like this. Sir, sir. And I'm like, suck my fucking balls. And I just walked right past her. Like, I already went in your bathroom and took a piss. And now I'm going to tell you, suck my fucking balls to your face, old stupid lady. And you're not going to do anything about it because now I'm going to leave. I don't even want anything from your store. I just wanted to pee inside of your store. It's all I wanted to do, and I accomplished that without wearing a diaper. So every once in a while, there's somebody who will try that shit, but it's getting more rare. So it was, and you have to go the closer to the ocean you get, the more liberal and PC and a libtard, basically. I think liberal and libtard are the same thing. So basically, the more close to the ocean you get, the more libtardy the population gets. It's funny because it's like libtards who have money. So it's like, imagine like a doctor or a lawyer who's like quadruple boosted and they have a lot of money, but they also have a sign out in front of their nice ass house that says, "In this house, we know that science is real, and we know that women are equal, and we know that Black Lives Matter." There's a sign that actually includes all these things. We know that Black Lives Matter. We know that women are equal to men. We know that science is real. And it has them all in different rainbow colors. So this is an actual sign that rich people will put out on their lawn to let you know that they are an absolute freak of nature libtard, like out of your wildest dreams, and they are successful and have money. So they're not like they're not like some low level like San Francisco libtard that lives in like a closet for $3,000 a month. Like some of these libs over like in Monterey area, holy crap, Santa Cruz area. It's like the most beautiful little ocean towns. So you want to go hang out in these by the ocean. If you want to enjoy the sights, you want to go there like a tourist, but you have to endure the fact that you're going to deal with some of the most libtardest of all the libtards. That's the place where I almost got in a fight with a guy in a mailbox who loved Gavin Newsom. I almost got in a fight with a guy dressed in a mailbox because he loved Gavin Newsom so much, and I saw that he was dressed in a mailbox, so I stopped my van, got out, and I was like, I have to interview this guy. I'm like, why are you dressed like this? He's like, they're trying to ban Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom's a great guy, just doing the best he can. And so he was like saying, don't ban Gavin Newsom. He was a Gavin Newsom fanboy dressed in a mailbox. And of course, this is what the type of shit you see the closer you get to the ocean, and which is sad because the ocean is just such a like a magical spiritual place for me. It makes me feel good to be in the wonderful weather. It makes my dog feel good. My dog loves going over to the ocean and walking and is smelling all the other dog smells and peeing in all the bushes and running up and down the water the line in the sand. It's just a wonderful part of life, and it sucks that it's been ruined by a bunch of libtards who want to live in that area where I like to go. So it sucks when a place where you want to go to experience a getaway or enjoy the wonders of the ocean and the sea life. And some of my favorite damn towns with the nicest weather have some of the worst libtards you can imagine. Literally, some of the worst you can even fathom. I got a donation says Antarctica treaty real. At this point, bro, I don't know if it's real or not, but like, who do you know that ever attempts to go there? And so I've heard stories that, like, oh, they'll blow you out of the water, they'll shoot you, they'll arrest you, or at the minimum, they'll turn around. But I've never known any legit flat earthers or any legit explorers who don't trust the government who are like trying to go to Antarctica or to the North Pole. And I'm more thinking like, what happens if you just go north? Can you pop back out in the south? Nobody's ever gone north and then pop back out down south. And so that just makes me wonder, since our compass is pointing it north, and you don't have not one single person that you know can tell you what's in the center of the map. So in the center of the map, let's say on the AE Pizza Pie map, well, it's still a question mark. You don't know what's there. Some people say Mount Meru, but there ain't not one video of anyone going there and proving it. And so we have a big question mark as far as what's north, and a question mark as far as what's south. And then we're only told that if you go east to west, it'll start over again. But you see the way flight is controlled. So since flight is basically controlled, and we don't get to have, what normal person do you know has their own jet and tons of fuel and can go check shit out for themselves and make sure how it all works? Like, what person do you know? And so the people who do have money and who do have their own private planes, well, maybe they're not thinking about trying to go down to Antarctica or to the North Pole. So what it takes a type of person who's going to go actually want to check it out. And then if you don't have any supplies or plan, or once you get there, you don't want to like run out of fuel and shit. And see, I'm not even a damn pilot. And so I'm guessing if you are a pilot and you do have a small plane, there's only so far you're going to be able to fly, and you still have to abide by all the regulations and stuff. You can't just willy nilly just be like, all right, I'm going for the ice wall. Later, bitches. So just what treaty would they even need if right now they got us pretty much locked down? Just a common man like me or you. What are we supposed to do? We can go maybe buy a sailboat, but what are you going to do? Try and sail down there by yourself? So for us common man to even go check out the North Pole or Antarctica, just the distance alone, and then the fact that you might meet some severe conditions, be it cold or heat or whatever, when you get there, you'll lose your cellular device signal, and at some point you'll have to try and maybe sail without any help from any of your electronic devices. I mean, who the hell knows? And so I personally, there's a part of me that wants to buy a sailboat and go check it out, but then I also know that I don't know dick about sailing, and so just thinking about buying a little dinky boat and trying to take it anywhere, scary. Like just sleeping on a boat, even near shore, is kind of scary and freaky to me. And so I even think about me personally, like, shit, if I was to just like buy a little sailboat, like, how far could I really take it? So even if I have the want and desire to go to this ice wall or to the North Pole, I would need a big enough boat and a crew around me who actually know what they're doing, because I don't. I ain't even gonna pretend like I know. So I don't got a plane or a boat that I trust to go check it out myself. So I'm always stuck listening to what someone else has to say. So if you just look at how they have the deck stacked against the common man, what are you going to do? What can you do? And so you'll hear the shill flat earthers tell you that south is every single direction basically, and that Antarctica surrounds you. But none of them have been to the North Pole or Antarctica. You know what I mean? So they don't have any first-hand knowledge, but they want to tell you that the center of the map is the North Pole. But none of them have ever been there. So they can't tell you what's actually there. So they want to tell you what the center is, but they've never been there and don't know what's actually there. But they know it's the center. How do you know if that's the center if you have no clue what's even there? So I've heard different stories of like there being like a hole where the oceans go into, and the oceans go into this hole. I've heard of Mount Meru. Uh, and mainstream science says it's just an invisible magnetic pole, just an invisible magnetic pole. That's what mainstream science says. Faith says, if you get a sailboat, I will go with you. I'm a pretty good field medic and cook. Oh, okay. Well, it's good to know I have a first mate. So if I'm like Forrest Gump and I just out of pure luck and will just decide to become a shrimp boat captain because I got the idea from some black guy who liked shrimp. So I'm gonna go become a shrimp boat captain, and then you can be Lieutenant Dan, my first mate. So in this instance, I'm just gonna just buy a sailboat, watch YouTube videos, and learn how to sail it. Because on YouTube, that's all you have to do is just watch how to, and then whatever. So I'm gonna watch a how to sail a boat YouTube video. I'm gonna become an expert, and then I'm gonna pick Faith up, and then we're gonna go. Which way you want to go, Faith? Do you want to go north or south? Are we going down south to Antarctica to see if that even exists, or are we gonna go to the North Pole and see if we pop out back down south? See, that would be freaky if we went north and then we popped out at the south part of the map. That would be freaky. But there could also be the possibility that that's where the elites go. They go way up north and they go to an area that we're not allowed to go to. Or south. Shit, I don't know. Justin Manikai says, go to the north and try and find Santa. Shit, at this point, it wouldn't even be that crazy to me if Santa did live at the North Pole. I would expect there to be something crazy. And so if that's what we were told our whole life, and then when I got there, like he actually did live there with magic reindeer and shit, I'd be like, well, that's not out of the realm of possibility anymore. I guess I can believe anything. John Palmer says, easier sailing north. See, I have no idea what would be easier. And see, all you guys are just probably guessing too. Logic X says, go north first. Yeah, man, you just go north and then go south. Yeah, but you won't have to do that if you go north and then you pop out back down south. If you went to the North Pole, but then you like eventually popped out somehow down at the southern end of the map and there was no Antarctica, and then you ran into Ushuaia, you'd be scratching your head wondering what the hell just happened. Then you'd be like, what? Well, there's also been some people accusing me of not giving Concave a fair look. I have looked into the concave model. It's basically just like globe in reverse, and there's some things about it that just don't jive well with me. For instance, on concave model, what they have going for them is that they can say, yes, there is no outer space, space is fake, and the Earth is sitting still. So that they do have, I like the fact that they have that going for them, and they can get like a continent sizes correct, and they can get star trails and shit in the north and the south correct. But the pure fact of saying that water is up against the walls and we're walking up against the walls, like water is shoved uniformly up against the walls and the ceiling. And they say it's due to a giant magnet sphere in the middle. And so apparently they claim this giant magnet sphere, when you look into the sky, you're seeing a half blue sphere and a half nighttime sphere. And the blue sky sphere and nighttime sphere is what's revolving inside the Earth. And that the oceans and our land is shoved up against the walls of this uniformly. So it's basically like you take a ball and then you go inside out. So now you're inside that ball, walking up and down the walls inside of the ball. And sometimes I wonder how it is that people can feel that that's what they're doing, because it just, to me, doesn't jive to me that China is up there. Hey guys, China's that way. So apparently, you can get inside of a rocket, punch through this celestial sphere, if that was possible, and then run into China up there. And so people who tell me, Jake, you don't give the concave a fair chance. It's like I've asked simple questions like, how come the sun doesn't come down in the morning and then go up at night? Wouldn't that make more sense? And they say that's what is happening. But you're inside the concavity. And so as the sun's coming at you and going away from you, it just looks like it's going up and going down the opposite because of refraction and magic and shit. And so it's always something that goes against what we should see. It's like, oh, yeah, Jake, the sun should come down in a concave model and should go up. But instead, it goes down at night and up in the morning the opposite way, because you're like standing in the concavity. And when you look that way, it just like gets refracted through the atmosphere. And it sounds like they're trying to just like come up with a way to to go against the fact that I see the sun come up and go down. So one of the things I never liked about AE map is that I can see the sun come up out of the ground and then go up over my head and be a little smaller and at its brightest, and then get orange as shit as it's going down and bigger again, and then appear to go into the earth. And so it doesn't leave your sight like a train going down the tracks does. If you watch a train go down the tracks, it'll go down to a pinpoint. The sun doesn't do that. So the sun doesn't, as it leaves you, it doesn't travel the same way an airplane does across the sky, or a train leaving your view down the tracks, or anything that ever left my view. So I put all this into perspective and I ask, how can we live on a flat earth and still have a sun go up and down? And there are some that suggest a square rectangular model, a Book of Enoch and portals and whatnot, Pac-Man style, even simulation style. But all this again is just us coming up with possible answers, in my opinion. I don't know anyone who's proven any model to my satisfaction to where I'm like, holy shit, everything works perfect. Everything. So no matter what model I look at, there still is that question mark of like, well, if it's an AE map, even though it's not, none of us have still been to the center to prove what's really there. So how can you really know what's the center if none of us have ever been there? And then you look at a square map, well, you still have the same problem, or a rectangle map. None of us have ever been up there to really know whether you're going to pop back out down here again, like video game style, or whether up here is no-no zone. is off limits. So we don't know if north is off limits. We don't really know if there is an ice chunk called Antarctica that's just a little ice chunk, and maybe we're just told that we're surrounded by ice. Maybe we're told in every direction you're going to run into ice. But what if it is just a little ice chunk? How would you really know? And so when you really get down to the fact that you personally, what do you really know? How much exploring have you done? And how much do you trust other men who traveled and explored on your behalf? Well, Admiral Byrd says da 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 da. Captain Cook says da 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 da. Were you there on Admiral Byrd's ship or Captain Cook's ship? So you're always having to take some other person's account of these explorations. Furthermore, a lot of this exploring was done a long time ago, and we're told everything's been found, everything's been discovered. But we know damn well that land is a hot commodity, and if they were to want to keep some land hidden from us or keep us locked in a certain area, like we're little chickens in a big cage, that they have the capability to enslave us mentally, put rules, sanctions around us to keep us from, in this day and age, traveling long, super long distances, because that's what it comes down to. You have to be able to travel super long distances. So how are you going to travel a super long distance? Let's say Elvis and Kobe Bryant and Prince and all your favorite dead celebrities are over up north. They get inside a plane built for longer distance travel, and let's say they go north and they go to an area of the map that is off limits to regular man. And let's say that's where they go. You can always see the sun day or night. Let's say we'll use that Prince line. So let's say there is a place up there kept secret from us. And let's say you have to be able to travel like, a crazy distance, like 20,000, 30,000 miles north of the top of the map that they show us. You got to go an extra 20,000, 30,000 miles up yonder in order to get there. And none of your devices are gonna work or show you where you're at. So just imagine the possibilities that exist out there as far as exploring. Now here's the deal. The fact that the circle map has been taken apart in many different ways, you pretty much have to get rid of an image of a circle and then ice going on. So if you think of an AE map surrounded by ice and then the ice goes on forever, you can get that one out of your head because the circle map fails. So little suns going around little ponds, that doesn't seem to work at all because the sun going in a circle fails on the AE map. The daylight hours don't work with a sun going in a circle. And there's no footage from far south of the sun just going in a circle off in the distance. So people are promoting these moon maps and saying possibly that we live in a crater and that the moon is a bigger map of Earth, but still you're going to end up stuck in a circular crater with a circular sun, which has been proven to not work. So I don't like circular crater maps or any circular map, because anytime you start spinning the sun in circles, you start doing wonky shit that doesn't match reality. And again, all the shills like to use that map, which makes me pretty certain that it's definitely not correct. So I'm always stuck in this position where I can't tell you the right map or the right model, but I have X'd out the circle model and infinite ice going on forever with circles. So infinite ice going on forever, and then circle models with domes over the top and shit. Throw them out. Throw them out. So even if you're going to come here and say, "Oh, well, I read the Bible and the Bible says that it's a circle and there's a dome," no, it doesn't quite say that. So you can extrapolate a lot of shit from the Bible. And so if you're going to like extrapolate shit from the Bible and say that, I read this book and the book says it's a circle and that there's a dome, well, reality proves otherwise. So you have to admit at some point that you read a book that was written by some men who maybe want to control your mind and how you think. Andy R&B says we need to figure out a map. Yeah, it's super hard. I'm not the best guy to know how to do it. I've even taken circle maps and rectangle maps and then try to like move some of the continents around a little bit uh, and try and tinker with stuff, if you will. Like, okay, what if you were to just have, Australia just stretch a little closer to Santiago, Chile, and so that we can get these flight times to match what reality is. But here's the thing: is like flight times can be messed with. A plane can fly a little slower than usual. If a plane was to fly 500 miles an hour one day and only 400 miles an hour the next day, 350, you inside the plane won't know. You know what I mean? And so they also take these wonky routes sometimes where they go way up north and then they come down in this big arc for no reason. So I've also seen some plane routes be extended several hours longer than they need to be. So what if you found out that some of these plane routes that they take are just complete bullshit, just to keep people believing in the globe? And I've seen how the plane routes can look like they work perfect on the AE map in some cases, but then there's other plane routes that don't fit that damn map at all. Uh, and so when you look at distances on a square or rectangle map, the distances start to actually make more sense, and the continents aren't all misstrewed and distorted. But now you have the problem of the sun going out one side and starting over again. You have to wrap your mind around that. And so we can we can say it's definitely not spinning ball in outer space. And then when I look at concave, concave doesn't seem to work with me. But there's people that get on my ass and say that I don't give concave a proper look. And they say, Jake, just freeze a magnet inside a cup of water and see what happens. And if you freeze a magnet inside a cup of water, it'll make like a pocket of air around the magnet, which is cool. But that doesn't prove that we live inside the earth. That doesn't prove that the sky is a celestial magnet that's half nighttime and half sky. And so, uh, to me, see, I've never seen water in its liquid form compressed up against the walls. So, what a concaver will tell you is if you take a magnet and you stick it in a cup of water and you suspend it with like a piece of string or fishing line to where it's dangling right in the middle of the cup, then you freeze it, it'll make this air bubble around the magnet. And I've looked into it and it seems to be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly what's going on here. Furthermore, that's ice up against the wall. And how are you supposed to be alive inside there if it's frozen and that's all ice? And so we have liquid water. And so for concave to be true, you have to imagine that the waters of the ocean is just going up against the wall uniformly. So the exact opposite of being wrapped around a ball. Now the water's uniformly shoved against the walls. So instead of gravity, now you'd have to have like compression. You'd have to have something shoving you up against the walls. And so I personally don't feel like the sun is coming down in the morning and going up at night, and I'm just seeing it the opposite. I don't feel like that's true. I don't feel like China is up there. I don't feel like I'm walking up and down the walls. It puts me back in the place of when they tell you, well, even though you don't feel the earth spinning 1,000 miles, you are, man. Even though you don't feel the earth spinning through space, at 66,000 miles an hour while it hurtles along with the sun at a million miles an hour, even though you don't feel any of it, it is. So Globers will tell you, even though you don't feel any of it, that's what's happening. Even though it seems flat, it's totally curved. And so the concavers are doing the damn same thing, basically. Yeah, you are walking up against the walls, and China is up there. It seems ridiculous. Mike with a donation, and he sends me this little fox emoji thing that's giving me a thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. And so I've been honest with you guys the whole way. I've never told you for sure I've got the map figured out. Ever since I figured out the AE map wasn't working right, I've been honest with you guys the whole way. I've never once said, hey, I've got the new map figured out and everything fixed. I've never even led you guys down that path at all. I've told you, hey, a square map or rectangle offers some different possibilities. You can at least get the daylight hours right and at least track the sun's location in a manner that seems to match up with reality, but it's still getting the sunset to come up locally over you and go over your head and go down the way it does. That seems like it can only work in some sort of personal simulation. And so when you throw computer simulation into the mix, well, then maps just become a computer construct, and they don't have to be finite and as real as we think they need to be. So, anywho, that's always been the main topic on this channel, in the asshole channel. The main topic it always comes back to: what is this place and why are we here? What is this place? Why are we here? Mainstream science will tell you it's a spinning ball. And we're here because there was a magical explosion for no reason, and evolution happened, and over billions of years, cells turned into multiple celled creatures, which turned into monkeys, and then monkeys turned into people. And here I am, an evolved monkey, talking about how wonderful this world is that we live in, that I don't know what it is. I'm an evolved monkey that knows I'm an evolved monkey, apparently. But that's what the mainstream science wants you to think, is that a magic explosion happened, billions and billions of years of evolution and gravity and balls forming. Their story, of course, I love how they put Earth in the Goldilocks zone. You guys know Goldilocks and the Three Bears, of course, is a fairy tale. It's a well-known fairy tale. Goldilocks, this little bitch, breaks into these bears' house. Yes, bears apparently have a home, and bears have chairs and beds, and they make porridge. And then these bears leave for the night, and then this little bitch just decides she's going to go inside some bear's house and just makes herself at home and just like uses all their shit and eats all their porridge. And of course, she thinks that the baby stuff, because she's a dumb little bitch, she thinks that the baby stuff is the best. And so this stupid fairy tale where this little ignorant ass bitch who breaks into bears' houses and steals their baby's porridge is glorified as some sort of mythical awesome person in the history of this world. So they have the Goldilocks fairy tale as the basis of where Earth is in the universe. Now, here's the thing, is like that fairy tale was invented, I don't know why, and then NASA decides to use it, or mainstream science decides to use the term Goldilocks zone. Look it up. If you Google Goldilocks zone, they're going to tell you the Goldilocks zone is this magical zone. It's like this fairy tale world where you're not too close to the burning ball. So let's say if this is the sun and this is the earth, you're in this Goldilocks zone. You're not too close to where it burns everything up, not too far away to where it's too cold. No, man, you're in the magical zone where everything is just right, where you get to have wet water, you get to have a little bit of ice, a little bit of snow, Perfect seasons. Perfect seasons. Just gets hot and cold, same times of year, just throughout history. Never seems to change or get thrown off or get a little wonky. No, the seasons just work perfectly year after year after year after year. And of course, this all happened coincidentally out of luck. Just happened to end up the Earth in the Goldilocks zone. Now, you know what I like about the Earth being in the Goldilocks zone is somehow the sun's gravitational pull grabbed all this material and created this ball, and it causes this ball to go around this ball. So the sun is a big, giant gas burning ball, and they say that the Earth is a small, watery, rocky ball. It's a rock with water all over it, and it's going around the sun. And so when you ask a question like, how come it goes around the sun? Oh, well, that's because of gravity. Don't you know that gravity makes balls go around balls? It does. So you're telling me there was this material that was floating around out there and it coalesced into a ball. And then at that point, once it was a ball, it started going in circles? Uh-huh. That's what gravity does. It makes dust and particles and gases coalesce into balls, and then they get close to suns, and then they go around the suns in circles, of course. And then it doesn't stop there. The gravity also has an effect on smaller particles that form around the planets called moons. So the planets also have balls that go around them. So let me get this straight. When I'm stuck here on Earth and I jump, what causes me to stay stuck to the Earth? Jake, that's gravity. Gravity causes you, when you jump up in the air, it pulls you back down so that you're stuck to the Earth. Okay, so gravity causes me to be stuck to the Earth. Yeah, and it also causes like meteors and stuff to get sucked into the Earth's gravitational pull, and they get pulled in towards the ground, right? Yeah, of course, Jake, you're getting it. Okay, so the Earth has so much gravity that it sucks shit into it? Yes. Okay, so what happens when you leave the atmosphere and then you get out into outer space? Oh, here's the cool thing, Jake. When you get into outer space, then you float around. Because, well, what causes you to float around once you get outside the Earth's atmosphere? Oh, here's the thing. When you get out in outer space, there's no gravity. So then you float. But how does the sun make the Earth go around in a circle? Oh, that's because of gravity. So out in outer space, there is gravity. So the sun is so big and so giant, it has a gravitational pull. And here's the thing, it causes the Earth to go around in a circle. Well, how come, since I'm on the Earth and I get stuck to the Earth, how come the Earth doesn't get sucked into the sun? Oh, no, no, no. The Earth doesn't get sucked into the sun. That doesn't happen. No, it stays perfectly where it is and goes around in circles because of gravity. Gravity doesn't cause the sun to suck the Earth into it. No. So these planets, like let's say Mercury is the closest to the sun doesn't have strong enough gravity, and gravity doesn't work that way. It's not going to pull Mercury into the sun. No. But it does have a gravitational pull that caused Mercury to turn into a ball and go around it in a circle. And then Venus to turn into a ball and go around it in a circle. And then Earth in the Goldilocks zone is also a ball that goes around this ball. So you're telling me gravity makes balls go around balls, and at the same time makes me stuck to the Earth? Yes. So when you're here on Earth,
Gravity works like this, to where when you jump, you're stuck to the earth. You throw a ball in the air, it comes back down, right? What goes up must come down here on the earth. But then when you escape the earth's gravitational pull and you escape the atmosphere, then you float because there is no gravity. But there also is a gravitational pull from the sun, which is causing the earth to go around the sun in a circle. You see, we go around the sun throughout the year, causing our seasons, which work perfectly year after year, of course. So, again, how come the earth doesn't get sucked into the sun? Gravity. How come the earth goes around the sun? Gravity. Well, what causes me to be stuck to the earth? Gravity. Well, how come the earth has a little moon? And this little moon, how come the moon doesn't get sucked away by the sun's superior force when the moon gets around towards the sun? How come the sun doesn't suck away the moon? Oh, no, 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 no. The sun has the earth and all the planets stuck in their rotations because of gravity, but it can't steal moons. Gravity doesn't allow for the stealing of moons. So let me get this straight. The sun sucks shit into it because of gravity, but only so much until it gets to a certain point where then it goes around? Yes! So there's a gravitational pull only until the sun decides that it gets to a certain place, and then you're stuck going around in a circle. So there's a gravitational pull, pulling shit towards the sun, apparently, except it stops pulling when you get to a specified distance, and then you start going in a circle. Now, here's where gravity starts to break down. Well, what about the moons? Do moons have enough gravity to have mini moons? No. Moons don't have mini moons. Duh, Jake, moons are too small to have enough gravity to have a mini moon of their own. So no, that's where gravity stops making balls. So big ass burning ball sun, and then gravity has also little Earths and Jupiters and Saturns and planets that go around the sun. And then those planets have little moons that go around them. But that's where it ends. Moons just ain't big enough to have many moons, Jake. Okay? Let's not ask stupid questions. So then after I was the first person to ask about mini moons in the world, NASA actually did come out and say, oh, we discovered a mini moon. So the moon doesn't have a moon. We actually just have this other little piece of rock that you can't see that's so small, but it's technically a moon, and so we have a mini moon. And so if you look up mini moon, you're going to find that there's a second piece of rock. It doesn't go around the moon, it goes around Earth, except it's so small you can't see it with any telescope. You're never going to see it. So we have a mini moon, and who the fuck do you think invented it? Me. So you can thank me for the fact that mini moons do exist. Thank you. It's a classic, one of my classic routines there, mini moons. Got a donation from Mike, says, how about dwarf galaxies that we can hold our palm? I don't know anything about a dwarf galaxy that you can hold in your palm. Seems to me, sir, you may have smoked one too many hits of DMT tonight. Just kidding. I don't know much about galaxies. As far as we've been told, I remember getting shown pictures of galaxies, and I remember it not making any sense when I was a teenager, but I went along with it. I remember my science teacher in like 7th, 8th grade was like, oh yeah, these are galaxies. So it would be like these disc shape. So you would see these disc shapes of what they say are just billions and billions of stars. And they look like they're all crammed together. But they say that that's a billions of stars, and it's this entire star system, and each one of those stars is spread out, just like when we look and see all the stars spread out in our sky. All those galaxy stars are spread out And you're like, so you're telling me I'm seeing an entire galaxy in this disc shape in this picture? Uh-huh. That's the Andromeda Galaxy that's 5 billion million light years away. And we saw it with this telescope out there. And I remember thinking, like, that's just weird that all the stars clump together and form those disc shapes out there. And then I also found it weird that the planets all rotate around us in a disc shape. Like, you don't go to Saturn that way and then go to Jupiter down that way. And so they say, like, oh yeah, all these planets are just off in different directions. But no, whenever you look at a representation of our solar system with the planets, it's in a disc shape. So it's not like they're all off in different fucking directions. It's like they're all in a disc shape going around the sun in this same shape, same patterns. And so apparently the universe is flat. It makes stuff into balls, and then at a specific distance from each other's balls, it puts the balls going in circles forever and ever and ever. Oh, and it keeps these balls lined up in flat planes. You know what I mean? Furthermore, if you want to destroy space travel as far as Earth traveling through space, we are told Earth is traveling through space. Here's my best and favoriteest debunk against the Earth traveling through space. Do you see the stars in different locations over the years, such as like when people first started plotting the stars until now? Do we see the stars in different locations? Have the shapes of the constellations changed? Have you seen the Big Dipper change shape? Well, it seems to me if you're shooting through outer space this way, and that star over there is shooting that way, and that star over there is shooting that way, and all the stars in the Big Dipper are all shooting in opposite directions from each other, they aren't all flying the exact same direction at the exact same speed. That doesn't make sense. So all the stars, according to mainstream media, are all shooting at unfathomable speeds in different directions away from each other. So, simple question. Why is Orion's belt still perfectly lined up? Why does the Big Dipper still always look like the Big Dipper? How come every single constellation where you see it is always there year after year? Yeah, like at one part of the year, you might see a few more stars, but the stars don't move. It's not like, oh, we've been shooting through space at this direction to where now those certain constellations have changed shape, and now we get to see some new stars. So basically, your great grandpa's grandpa should have seen a certain set of stars, and then we should be seeing a different set of stars. We should see the constellations changing, but they don't. But they don't. And you know what mainstream science's answer to this is? It's so far away. You just can't fathom how far it is. So anyone who loves the globe has to tell me that those are light years away, billions of light years, and millions of light years away. And you just can't fathom how far it is. It's just so far. And you're just this little speck of dust. And you're just a nothing little nobody speck of dust. And those suns are gigantic and they're millions of light years away. So that's why the Big Dipper is going to stay the same shape forever during your tiny little puny human life. That's what they'll tell you. That's the story in there, sticking to it. So when it comes down to a basic argument of is the Earth flying through space? You don't even have to ask if it's spinning. Is it flying through space like they say it is? No, because all the constellations are the same shape as they were 1,000 years ago. Oh, well, it's just so far away, and your little brain just can't fathom how blah, 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 blah. Furthermore, if you look at the twinkly stars, wouldn't it make more sense that some of them should be bigger than the others? Like right now, if you look at the stars, you got twinkly ones, medium twinkly ones, and then ones that are kind of dim. But you don't see any like bigger ones that appear to be like a sun that's much closer than the other suns. If they all were suns, and there were little white dwarf suns and big giant orange suns and blue suns and green suns that were all burning at different temperatures and they were all different sizes, then we should see various different sizes of twinkly dots. But instead, all the dots are basically the same size and they all do the same shit, which doesn't make sense. That never made sense to me. All the damn dots are the same size. So you're telling me all those suns in every direction are all basically like the same twinkly dot size? Come on, bro. And if everything is always getting further and further away, then that means every star should just slowly, slowly diminish. Shouldn't there be at least one sun that's like slightly closer than all the other stars to where it like is just bigger, you know? Like one that's, let's say, uh not quite the size of a dime off in the distance, but like maybe like a quarter size of a dime. Shouldn't there be one of them out there that's noticeably much bigger than all the other ones? But no, they're all just the same twinkly size. So if you ever want to debunk Earth's movement with a very simple debunk that will get any glober to have to be like, so far away, so far away, but it'll leave them scratching their head. Furthermore, when you're looking at the sun and all the stars and planets are off this way and it's nighttime, and the Earth's looking at the sun, this way is nighttime. And then on the opposite side of the year, now that way's nighttime, this way's looking at the sun. How are you seeing the same stars and stuff? You're still seeing a lot of the same stars way over here on the other side of the sun. Oh, well, they're so far away, Jake. So the stars, it's called parallax. The stars are way out there, billion, million, trillion miles away, so that when you're over here and when you're over here, you're still seeing the parallax of the same stuff. See, so no matter what little thing you pull out, they always have an excuse for you. So the diehard globies, they live and die on that answer, which to me is one of their weakest ones. So far away. It's just so far away. Ask them, well, how far? How far is that star right there? How far is the one next to it? How do you know? Just because science tells you so? So when you look at the Big Dipper, each one of those stars should be just unfathomably far away from you and unfathomably going in opposite directions at crazy speeds that you just can't fathom because your little monkey brain just can't handle it. That's what mainstream science says. Every single star in the Big Dipper is flying radically fast beyond your little monkey brain's comprehension in opposite directions from each other. And they've been doing this since the beginning of time that you can even try and fathom. And yet it still looks like a spoon. And it's going to look like a spoon for the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' life and the rest of your kids' as long as there's people on this earth, it's always going to look like a spoon somehow. So it's never going to change shape, apparently, even though all those damn stars are flying in opposite directions at unfathomable speeds. Okie dokie. Now, I don't agree with that stars are suns either. So I don't think for a second that stars are suns. I'm giving you guys the mainstream, what mainstream science says, and putting it out there for how ridiculous it is. Because we were taught this in an environment in school where we all just nodded our head. So it's funny for me to repeat the shit that I was taught now and just laugh at how ridiculous it sounds. Like when you hear me tell the tale of being in the Goldilocks zone and what are the odds, that we ended up in the Goldilocks zone? And what are the odds that they named it the Goldilocks zone after a fairy tale where a little bitch breaks into some bear's house and steals their porridge? Just the whole thing's wacky, man. Yeah, man, we're in the Goldilocks zone. It's this magical zone. And then when you look at our solar system, it's like just so they make it out like it's so chaotic, like we got just so randomly lucky. Like, yeah, on Mars, everything's dead and it's just a bunch of red rocks. And on our moon, there's no life, it's just a bunch of gray rocks. And then all the other planets are pretty much just a bunch of gas balls and you can't even land on them or go there. And so we just got totally lucky that this rock showed up next to this gas ball, started going around it, and then somehow oceans showed up and it was nice and wet. Best part, how did life show up in the oceans? Primordial soup. There was the oceans on the earth were mixing a soup. Primordial soup. You just mixed a bunch of shit together until life somehow came from a soup mixture. They're not quite sure. Some speculate maybe some comets came and hit the soup mixture, and the comets had little bits of living bacteria on it, ancient bacteria, and then they got into the ocean and they were like, fuck, this is cool. Let's start becoming multiple cell organisms. Let's start evolving. So this alien cells, single cells, showed up in the water somehow, according to mainstream science, and they just decided to start multiplying until they clumped together and resembled something like a fish. They did. These single cells decided to clump together, and over billions of years of evolution, they grew this cool swimming tail and fins, and they were swimming around. And then a few of the fish were like, hey, I want to get up there on the land and see what's up there. So some of the fish decided to start growing legs, and through millions and billions of years of evolution, some of the really cool, smart fish grew some legs, got up out of the ocean, started walking around, and they turned into like frogs and lizards and shit. And then those frogs and lizards went on to become like dinosaurs? Or no. Yeah. And then the dinosaurs died because a comet killed them, we think maybe. And then monkeys and cows and shit showed up through evolution. And then monkeys started losing their hair. And then there were these certain monkeys that stopped wanting to be monkeys and they wanted to like work inside of cubicles and do people's jobs that we do today. So there was like these monkeys that didn't want to hang out in the trees and eat bananas anymore. And so they started losing their hair and they started building buildings and offices, and then they created jobs that they don't like so that they didn't have to go hang out in the trees and eat bananas anymore. And then here's the thing: all the monkey humans, so all the people that were evolving from monkeys into humans, they all died. So throughout millions of years of evolution, while the monkeys were evolving into people, there were all these like half monkey people, but they weren't, their genetics sucked. And so they all died. And so if you go look for monkeys, there's still monkeys that decided to stay monkeys. They didn't want to turn into people. So there's plenty of monkeys that stayed monkeys. But what happened to all the half monkey people? They died. They weren't smart enough to stay alive. So the monkeys that turned into people, they kept evolving to what we have today, to where now a man can evolve into a woman, and a woman can evolve into a man. It's a very magical world that we live in, and so it really trips me out that I'm a monkey man, and I figured out that I used to be a monkey, and that I come from monkeys, and so here I am, an evolved monkey man, telling you guys the story about how we came to be living creatures here in this speck of dust, random chance world that shoots around the sun because of magical gravity. Man, I'm so glad to be an evolved monkey that knows that I'm an evolved monkey. Think of all the evolved monkeys that don't know that they're evolved monkeys. Poor fellas. Think of all the actual monkeys that didn't get to become evolved monkeys. I feel sorry for them. Like when I look at monkeys, regular monkeys who like pick their butt and throw their feces at each other, I'm like, I feel sorry that you guys didn't get to turn into people. Oh, poor fellas. Here, we'll put you in the zoo. So whenever I go to the zoo and I see the monkeys, I'm always a bit sad. Not because that the monkeys are captive, but because they didn't get to turn into people. If you keep monkeys in a zoo long enough, according to mainstream science, they should start turning into people. But science has also proven that half monkey people don't live as long and can't survive and thrive as much as actual people or monkeys. So monkeys can live and survive and thrive, and people can live and survive and thrive. But all the crossbred like half monkey people, they fucking sucked at staying alive. So apparently, a regular baboon ass monkey is good enough at surviving and eating bananas and hanging out in the trees that it can do that. And a human can go to the office and do a computer job and make a paycheck and stay alive. But like a half human monkey, like what the fuck would that person do? Like that's just a death sentence. So you can see why evolution got rid of all the half monkey people. It just makes sense. Like, how are you gonna be like a half monkey and a half person and like eat a banana at the office and like throw your feces at Elaine, the receptionist? That's not going to work. And so that's why you don't see half monkey people. Dick Flinghammer says, no disrespect to any monkeys, but the ones who believe they come from monkeys are swine. Yeah, what's sad was I actually used to believe that when I was a kid. I was stupid. You know what it is? My dad's all into atheism and shit. And so he would make jokes about people who believe in God. He was one of those like, oh, does your magic man in the sky? Is he going to fix everything? How come little kids die if there's a magic man in the sky? It's like that's like something my dad would say. Michael Bostis says, I came from a monkey. I came from a monkey. You came from a monkey. Everybody that I know, we came from a monkey. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around. And we evolved from monkeys because we're some monkey clowns. All right. No Brand says Anunnaki could be true also. Anunnaki stuff is interesting, but it's also like super sci-fi alien-y shit that I don't like. Because then you can start just making shit up like the Anunnaki built the pyramids. It's like, dude, you don't know that. They levitated the blocks with their secret technology, and then they cut down Devil's Tower, which was a giant tree, and then they took it over to the giant kingdom underneath the sea. Don't you know that? So you can start just making shit up. And a lot of people are cool with that. Just making up some magical shit that sounds good in their head. Javid Benskami says, opinion on Bible cosmology. Interesting how there's some parallels in there with what's going on in the world. As I was growing up, I had no reason to want to be into religion. I didn't like religion. I was into science and atheism. And so I rejected that book. And so I haven't sat and read every word in there. But I have come to change my mind and feel like, there's some positive things that come out of it. But
the fact that it can foreshadow some of the evil things that are going on could also be because it's written by men who know the script or are privy to the script, who are controlling things. So we can't, in my opinion, look at the Bible as like a magical book that teaches us what's going to happen, because then you can also say that some evil people wrote that for you so that they could script your life and keep you in a controlled way of thinking. So I'm always skeptical when it comes to the words written down on paper by some other men. So I know there's some people who are diehard Christian, diehard Bible thumpers, and every single word in that Bible is like straight up like how they live their life, like literally. And then there's other people that, take some of the stories from it, they don't take them as literally, and they extrapolate maybe messages from it or take certain key elements from it and associate it with their life. So it just depends, how crazy you want to get with it. I've seen people, who are homeless walking down the street like, you need to repent now. You need to get Jesus. You need to repent. And it's like, well, it doesn't look like the Bible and God have helped him too much. And then I've also met people, who are really cool and nice people and have a lot of morals and standards, and it's because of their faith in Christianity and going to church and stuff like that. So I've seen it do good for people, and I've also seen it turn people into nut bars. So I guess it comes down to you, the person with the information, and what you do with it, whether it be about a religion or God or something you saw in the news. It comes down to what you're going to do with it and how you're going to relate it to the people, your friends, your family, people at work, whatever. Because I can't remember where I was going to go at that point. I had a point and then I forgot what it was. Oh well. Danielle Funk says, I can't stand those over the top Bible thumpers. Yeah, like if you come here and all you do is post Bible verses and you tell me, like, I need to do this or that to get right with God, and that's like all you do to people everywhere you go, just know that you're annoying to most people, and most people don't like you if that's what you do. Like, I saw a dude one time in Santa Cruz. He had a wagon and he had this loudspeaker in the wagon, and it was like blaring Bible verses. And he was like dragging that along while people were trying to eat. And they were like looking at this guy like, oh, screw you. And it's like, I know in his head, he thinks he was doing the right thing by dragging this wagon, blaring Bible verses out of the speaker. But when you start, like, let's say interrupting people's lives, and they're like enjoying their moment, and you're like, Isaiah 27:19, thou shalt not covet thy own with thy shall thou. And it's like, screw you, you're just some fucking random dude walking by. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So somebody pushing religion too hard can easily turn me off and grind my gears, no matter what religion it is. So if you come at me slapping the Bible, or you come at me slapping the Koran or whatever, if you come at me slapping it too hard and you don't treat me with respect, then I just might not want to hear what you have to say. Oh, so someone says I missed a super chat earlier. Let me go back and get it. And Javid Benscombe says, have you allegedly, Dave, when you were involved with FE groups? I never have met or dealt with allegedly Dave. I've heard the name, but I've never met or dealt with him. Back in 2016, 17, like, I'm pretty sure I predated him with my content. Yeah, someone says I missed one. Have you... Going back, I don't see it. Oh, there it was. PJC Net says, What do you think they're going to say we've found with the so-called James Webb Telescope? Oh, they just need more telescopes so that they can feed us more space garbage. They have to have supposed tin cans floating around out there taking pictures of shit. So rather than them always use Hubble, they have to have a handful of different ones, like, oh, well, we have Satan's penis telescope, we have Satan's sperm, we have Lucifer's anus, we have the ring of Baphomet's balls. So they always have these evil named telescopes, cleverly evil named telescopes out there, supposedly. And so what they basically need is just a pretend tin can floating out there so that they can give you more pretend space images. And then when you ask where that came from, then they can say, well, that's floating around out there. So if you want pictures of the all the gear on the moon that was left over from the moon missions, they have apparently a telescope that orbits the moon. So NASA has a telescope apparently that orbits the moon. So if you want to see pictures of the lunar module base sitting on the moon, or the lunar land, the lunar rover, or even the American flag, you can see the little dots and stuff that they say is that equipment. But it comes from the same people who claim they landed on the moon, and it comes from a telescope that they claim is orbiting the moon. So you got to love when the evidence always comes from the same people who lied to us to begin with. Seven Snitsky says, I'm 2 hours late. Fuck! Hey, well, you know what? You can go back and rewatch. We talked about the Ottawa convoy earlier at the beginning of the stream. And then we got into, I did a few of my old comedy routines. I did the Mini Moons comedy routine for old time's sake. And I did a little mask comedy routine. So that's what you missed earlier. So if you want to go back and rewatch, what I recommend is that if you guys go out on like a car trip, you have me on in the background or something. Or if you're working at a job where you can listen to me, like let's say maybe you're a carpenter job or a manual labor job where you can have me on in the background. Listen to these long streams in the background. And then if you want to get through them faster, let's listen to it at 1.25 or 1.5, and then you'll be talking a lot faster. So I'll talk a lot faster, and then you'll get through the stream quicker. So if you want to watch this long ass stream in like an hour and a half, you could watch it at like 1.5. 432HZ Music says, when did you realize it's flat? I did in 2016. I came across that notion in 2015. So I started watching Matt Boylan or Powerland in Dubai in 2015. And then January 2016 is when I decided to become a content creator. And of course, I started the Jake the Asshole channel, which was Flat Earth Asshole. And that, of course, is the main channel. And for those of you who are maybe new here or you're only subscribed to this channel, my main channel is called Jake the Asshole. I have 40,000 subs. I am shadow banned, but I do get a little bit more views over there than over here. This is the backup channel to the Jake the Asshole channel. And this channel has also been around for several years as the backup. And whenever the main channel has been hit with strikes and I'm unable to stream for months at a time, we basically come over here to the backup channel and we resume streaming over here. And nowadays I'm running streams on both channels just so I can try and reach any new viewers I can, but it doesn't seem to work. They seem to have shadow banned me on both channels. And so basically it's me and you guys, and it doesn't look like they're going to allow these channels to grow a whole lot more. So I basically am here to entertain you guys, and you diehards are going to get the content from me, because I don't have anything better to do than keep making content. They stole my damn job with this boogeyman disease, of course, and So I've been a pro YouTuber ever since they stole my singing job. Oh, we have a donation come in. It says, we'll go back and rewatch. I was playing video games and drinking Red Bull and vodka. Sometimes I listen to you while I'm going to bed. Haha. Well, that's cool. And so, yeah, I have the two channels. I have this channel and the Jake the Asshole channel. And then I do live streams that are usually like around 2 hours. And then the shorter videos that I do, they can be anywhere from, 2-3 minutes to maybe 10-15 minutes. And so I like to put out lots of different content, cover lots of different subjects to my own detriment. YouTube punishes me because of all the different subjects I cover. They don't like it. They want you to stay in your own lane, talk about one thing only, and then maybe they'll reward you. But to my own detriment, I cover all sorts of different subjects, talk about all sorts of different things. And so that's what I'm going to keep doing. I don't see myself stopping, even though they shadow ban me and they go out of their way to suppress my views and remove my subs. We are still trudging along, still fighting in 2022. Faith says, Jake is my favorite asshole ever. Even more than your own asshole? You prefer me over your own asshole? So I figure most people would think that their own asshole is the best ever and that I'm second best. Stupid. Faith says it pairs well with my resting bitch face. All right. I'm getting a little tired. I've been on here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I covered the convoy. It looks like it's, for those of you joining us late here, I covered the convoy earlier. It seems like it's starting to die out. Police have began arresting people at the Ottawa protest. And so apparently some of the trucks have left. Some of the trucks have been towed away and protesters are beginning to be arrested. So we are seeing the pushback. We're seeing the shit apparently hit the fan at the Ottawa protests. So I'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see how that develops tomorrow and the next day. And I'll do maybe one more video on it if it comes to a close. But that's basically what I wanted to cover today. Was a little bit of the protests, and then do a few old school jokes for old time's sake. So please like, share, and subscribe, or don't. This is Richie from Boston. I'm out.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Elmo wants you to like, share, and subscribe.
If you don't hit the subscribe button now, the Macho Man is gonna reach through that screen and he's gonna grab your little puny puke behind and he's gonna shake the Slim Jims out of your system, little man. Oh, yeah. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. This is Jake the Asshole, and I'm out. Peace.